died a little.
Yeah, I'm just glad that's over with. We weren't too far off from it. Okay, but that's nuts.
That was a lot.
Look how big this thing is.
Yeah, it's bigger than your child.
Yeah, by far.
It's bigger than your child.
Okay, dude, my socket is hot. Look at that, it even goes in a gun case.
Oh, you know how funny it was when I seen that sits on the porch.
And reuse the stock bolt to install the top baffle plate.
You got these all degreed, dude?
Yeah.
You take a look at where you got them ended up with.
A lot more than what you said to do. You said, yeah, just advance it 1 degree, retard it 1 degree.
No, I said advance it.
You said advance.
That would have been close enough.
You said advance it all the way. That's what. You gonna lift this valve cover up for me a little bit?
You know.
This one?
I don't know if I would RTV all the way around there or just where it goes on.
I would RTV it all the way around. It's okay. It's because it's got no bolts in it.
Yeah, about my fleet. Yeah, just shitload of Grand Am Valeros in my truck.
Well, we ended up doing a lot to the RB, and I forgot to film a lot of it. However, I'll just briefly go through kind of some of the things that we did in the last couple weeks and go from there. The reason why I wasn't really filming a whole lot was because I was limited for space on my phone, and I was doing a lot of actual footage on the project car, the hatchback, that we're doing a lot of track things too this season. So that and the new K-Series project. So we ended up getting pretty much the complete long block done. So we have the oil pan on, we have the oil, all the coolant hoses, the heater core hoses, the idle air control valve, All that stuff is all hooked up. We put a brand new, I guess this is a water neck with some other stuff on it. I'm not too sure what that's called, but we put brand new one of them on, all brand new hoses, brand new clamps. We hooked up brand new heater core hoses, new rear main seal. We mocked up the twin scroll exhaust manifold as well. And then we finished up the rear drain for the head. So I crafted a nice little hose for that and tightened it up. Put a little P-clip there to secure it to the block, and then we ran it straight into the oil pan right there. So that's another 90-degree fitting. Timing kit had to get pulled off. We forgot to put the backing plate in. Not too sure if I covered that in the last video, but we ended up doing all that, finished that up. So the cams are degreed, everything's good to go. Crank pulley's tightened up. We still need to put the trigger kit in for the cams. We need to make some connectors for the crank trigger kit down here. And then we had to put in a wideband knock sensor right here. So I have the connector for it, but we're gonna have our friend over at Critter Performance come by, and he's gonna help us wire up the sensor connectors for the knock and maybe even the trigger kit as well. He's got some special tools and some experience with these particular RB Skyline engines, so he'll probably give me some insight on what an appropriate location to run a harness for either sensor. And then we also need to go ahead and put the fuel rail on. But aside from that, I mean, we got all the spark plugs in, gapped and installed. We actually cleaning up the brand new clutch disc. This is a X clutch, I believe, Extreme. It's a twin disc. So I had Andy over here cleaning the steels off. He did a pretty good job, as you can see. We'll probably just air them off real good because you can see those little fibers from the deals, the rags. So, but that is a cool little twin disc. We're going to be installing that shortly, and once we get the flywheel installed on this thing, we should, after doing the sensor connectors, we should be able to drop this thing in. We did also, I forgot to mention, install the brand new OEM replacement engine mounts. So we got Critter Performance out here helping us out with the trigger kit wiring. So we have the cam trigger, the crank trigger, and he's also helping us out with the knock sensor wiring as well, the shielded wire. Again, that's a wideband knock sensor, and then a PRP. I think this is the Race Series trigger kit. And then we put the gap at 0.6 millimeter of a gap from the trigger pickup to the trigger knob there. And I forget what the measurement was here for this one, but we have that set as well. '68-62G with a T51R mod, 83AR hot side, T3 V-band. Exciting, exciting. Straight from Taiwan. Do you think I can get canceled for that, saying Taiwan? And some other really cool numbers, I don't know what it means.
I think they actually match up with like the number on the thing.
because like there's numbers on the box inside of it.
Oh, gotcha.
And then there's like numbers on the compressor housing.
Oh yeah. Caution. This shit's extremely awesome and may make your car super fast. Yep, got it. Got a little Pulsar installation guide. Don't need that. We got some sealed air. Pretty awesome. Don't need that. Oh yeah. Don't need that. This is what we're looking for. This, guys, is a G35 1050 Pulsar Turbo. This bad bitch right here is what's going to be in store for this season. With this one, with a lot of consult on Andy. I mean, dude, Andy really kind of just made this happen. I told him what my goals were with it. He did tons of research on what turbo would do what I wanted to do and how I wanted it to do it. And here we are. It's a dual ball bearing, obviously billet turbine, 75 AR cool side. I think this is an 82 AR hot side. It's a T3, which we're gonna go ahead and convert this to a V-band style when we do what we're gonna be doing later, which that's for another time. It is obviously water cooled, V-band on the hot side housing, which is awesome. I really wanted to get a turbo with a V-band cool side option, but hey, I'm cool with the V-band hot side because it just makes it that much easier to get it off, you know, during our maintenance and whatever. So it also has something I really like about Pulsar is they offer their version of the T51R mod. And if you don't know what a T51R mod is, Google it or YouTube it, because it is awesome. It makes all the whistle noises in the world. Some might say it even helps with spooling, blah, blah, blah. Personally, I don't think it makes a difference. I personally think it's all about just that nostalgia, old HKS turbo style sound that you would get from, you know, the early 2000s, late 90s Supras, you know, that early 2000 Fast and the Furious vibe, you know what I mean? That really gnarly whistle. This is gonna do it. Really cool turbo. It has the little option for our boost reference, so we could pop the plug out, put a fitting on there, and that could be our vacuum source for our boost controller. It has the turbine speed option, so if you want to be really fancy and you want to get a, you know, some sort of measurement of turbine speed, well, hey, you have that option. So all in all, not much more else to talk about. It did come with a V-band. Here, I got it over here. It came with a V-band with a V-band clamp, which is super nice of them. Can't tell you how many times I've ordered a turbo and it didn't come with a freaking V-band clamp and flange. So we got our flange there, which is a nice beefy flange. Very, very nice, stepped, just how we like it. So it being nice and beefy, giving you a lot of room from the weld point to the flange. It's just a really nice flange, really nice V-band. The clamp seems like it's pretty sturdy. It's the thickness of the clamp is really, really thick. Then it comes with a really cool, which we like to use these a lot. It's basically a self-locking nut So that helps a lot with the exhaust loosening up and trying to spin on you. So especially for us hood exits, or particularly the hater pipes coming out the side, the side exits, them things like to come loose with vibration. And if you over tighten it, it can screw the threads up, and just it's a really nice V-band flange and clamp setup. They also give you a specific restrictor fitting, which is awesome, because I hate trying to go contact email support with whoever I buy a turbo from, and I'm like, hey, what kind of restrictor do I need? And then I have to source it out and verify it. It's just a big old fiasco. So they give it to you. Awesome. Comes with the return, I believe this is the return fitting gasket. So don't quote me on it, but I think this is the smaller 2-bolt return fitting, which would be a 38 millimeter. Versus the 42 or 44 millimeter that you get with some of the old standard universal turbos. Nothing else in the bag. It also comes with the T3 gasket. It's a single ply with a rib, but it's a thick enough gasket to where I'd feel comfortable running this. Typically I run the thicker gaskets. They're like MLS, so they're like 2-3 layers deep. But the singles, if they're thick enough like this one appears to be, it should be okay to run. So I'll probably end up trying to run this one just to see how it goes. Worst case scenario, we have to swap it out. All in all, it's really cool. Very well set up turbo, and they give you everything you need. I mean, it comes with the water fittings, which is awesome on both sides of the turbo. They give you your feed fitting, they give you your return. The only thing I didn't have that they didn't send me was kind of, slightly like a what the heck moment, was they didn't give us the 2-bolt return fitting. But that's okay too, because I personally like the slip-on style return fittings. They're just like a barb fitting instead of an AN threaded type return fitting, because it makes it easier to manage the return line. Because if you pop the return line off the oil pan, you have to make sure all your oil is drained out, otherwise it's a big mess. So very cool that they sell those fittings, the barb or AN style, for their turbos. So we went ahead and ordered that as well. So far so good. I really appreciate what they include with it, the way they packaged it. Awesome. Realistically, before we bought the turbo, when we were shopping around for turbos, we tried to YouTube and Google other people's experiences with this specific turbo, the G35, the 1050, on a Civic, on a 4-cylinder. And the G35, a lot of people have this experience with like their inline 6s or their V8s. But to my knowledge, no one's posted up a review on this specific size turbo with, say, a Civic, right? A 4-banger. So the whole point of this series of videos is going to be essentially my experience, our experiences with this turbo. And believe it or not, I'm going to verify later with Andy, but I'm pretty sure he has the same exact G35 1050 turbo for his RB26, which is an inline 6, right? So we'd be able to compare, which is going to be awesome if this works out this way. But we'll be able to compare the G35 1050R on a 2-liter 4-cylinder setup, Honda specifically, and then the RB26 2.6 liter inline 6. So very exciting if it works out that way. Otherwise, if it doesn't and he ended up getting a different turbo, that's okay too, because I'll be able to just review it for myself, review it for you guys who might be in the market for a bigger turbo that's capable of 1,000 horsepower, and what it does and how it reacts, what's the spool time on it, what's the lag looking like, what's the top end like. We're going to be taking this thing on the strip. We're going to be doing a lot of quarter-mile stuff, maybe even some eighth-mile stuff with it this season. So we'll really dig into it, put her through the ringer, and give you an honest review on it. So stay tuned for this one. It's going to be awesome. This is going to be like an all-season thing. I mean, we're just going to continuously give our input on the turbo throughout the season. But yeah, ultimately just enjoy it and get in the moment with it. I kind of touched basis on the new chassis and I think the last video with the RB, but this is the EK hatch that I will be running this year. Actually traded the RSX locally for it. It was a almost complete project. It wasn't entirely complete, so we ended up just tearing it all down and parting it out. So I'm gonna be throwing my power plant in it, maybe swapping up some of the cosmetics. I'm gonna do some cool stuff, tubular front end, maybe a weight plate. We're gonna mandatory have to do a 4-point harness bar. Got some harnesses with the deal, so we're gonna slap those in. Maybe swap up the seats a little bit for lighter weight seats. We're already in the process of fully gutting it, so we're gonna pull all of the interior pieces out of it, minus the dash, and you know, maybe cut some metal out of this thing. We're just gonna make it as lightweight as we possibly can. It's a very clean chassis, so kind of worth putting our time and efforts into. And all in all, this is gonna be what's getting me into the 9s hopefully this year. So that'll pretty much wrap up this one. Touch basis on the Skyline update and did a little unboxing on that turbo and talked a little bit, very little bit about our next video, most likely on the EK chassis for the year. So that being said, of course, as always, like, subscribe, comment. I love hearing it, I love seeing it, and the support goes a long way. We're gonna end this one here and hopefully get another video out to you soon. I feel like I must apologize, just to some certain degree. Life has been getting crazy. The shop's been picking up because of the spring, the race car season. We recently moved, so a lot of changes happening. Not a whole lot of time to edit and publish videos, so had to take a quick second away from that. So with that being said, I should be back on that hustle. I should be able to get some more stuff put out a little more frequently. I didn't really want to take all this time to like not do videos, but you know, sometimes life happens, and it is what it is. So again, like, subscribe, comment, and we'll be putting out another video pretty soon here on the hatch, aka the Duke, and we will get some progress updates on that. So until then, catch you next time.